Hi, everyone. Welcome to Filecoin Orbit. My name is Colin, but as many of you know, my friends call me Protocolin, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the future of how to catalyze the next 1,000 startups in our ecosystems in the next year. So let's get started. A quick review of the last 12 months. What the community has built within Filecoin has been remarkable. We built one of the largest data storage networks on the planet, estimated roughly to be the size of Google Cloud in about 2018. We built the least expensive large-scale storage network in the world. We built the fastest upgrading blockchain that's more than 10xing the available chain bandwidth within 8 months of launch, just an incredible kind of evolving mechanism. We built an environment where builders can thrive with over 10,000 developers engaged in hackathons, 250 applications live today, and 500 new teams entering the ecosystem. We built the storage network of Web3 with over 7 million NFTs stored on Filecoin, integrations with 75% of the largest smart contract blockchains. And we built over 25 categories of use cases on Filecoin, from NFTs to video and audio to the metaverse to biotech, et cetera. Of course, Filecoin has become the storage network of Web3. It's supported by IPFS, which is the content and data platform of Web3, and libp2p, which is the networking library of Web3. And thankfully, we just have a tremendously thriving ecosystem to choose from here. libp2p has been thriving, supporting some of the major blockchains in the space as the underlying messaging protocol. IPFS has been thriving since really 2013, and so that ecosystem is enormous. And Filecoin has a whole tremendous array of applications building on it today. Startups are thriving, collaborators are partnering, developer tooling providers are improving, and so it's just a tremendous starting point that we're starting from here. And just a kind of a quick snapshot of builder momentum: 250 applications building on Filecoin, 500 new teams entering the ecosystem, 10,000 developers engaged in hackathons just this year alone, and we have over 8,000 contributors across 4 implementations that have made meaningful contributions on GitHub. So, stepping back, celebrating what we've done in the last year here, how as a community can we catalyze the next 1,000 startups in the ecosystem for the next year? And so I tend to use this framework on how to think about it. Up top, we have ecosystem multipliers. These are new use cases, bridges to other Web3 ecosystems, or bridges to Web2 users that really inspire a whole bunch of developers and builders to chase a bunch of opportunities within a specific vertical. In the middle here, we have this builders funnel where developers can enter through hackathons, education, resources, and support. Projects can thrive with accelerators, grants, and mentorship, and really take those hacks into projects. And then we can take those projects into real businesses through ecosystem funding and growth support. And so that funnel is what we'll focus on here today. And then at the bottom here is what I'm starting to call startup support. And so these are tools and resources that help startups focus on what they do best, that's build. And so we'll tease a few of the things that we're thinking about launching in the next few months today. So I'll walk through each of these individually. On ecosystem multipliers, we've had a lot of success over the last year. Filecoin is connected to some of the major Web3 blockchains, with most of the remaining ones planned for Q4. And these aren't just technical integrations. These are paired with joint grant programs, joint hackathons, really create a fertile breeding ground where new developers and builders can come to fruition, experiment with ideas, get funding, and thrive across these different blockchains. Filecoin and Ethereum, this has been a year in the making. It started with our deep partnership with Consensus. That's kind of flowing into integrations with MetaMask and Pura, the Codified DeFi Bridge, and many others. But more recently, we've integrated with Dapper Labs, which has chosen Filecoin as the de facto storage collaborator for the Flow ecosystem. Polygon, Hedera Hashgraph, Near. These have all been really fruitful collaborations that will only increase over time. Another ecosystem multiplier has been NFTs. NFTs have exploded this year, but IPFS and Filecoin were really uniquely poised to be some of the underlying tech for those NFTs to live on. And so over 7 million NFTs are stored on Filecoin just in the last 6 months. And this developer tool called NFT.storage has made it really easy for any marketplace, any exchange, any NFT creator to use IPFS for content addressing and Filecoin for long-term storage. Browsers has been another major ecosystem multiplier. Between Opera and Brave, which have both embedded IPFS nodes natively within those browsers, that gives access to 250 million combined monthly active users, which is absolutely phenomenal. And due to the great work of our ecosystem partners, Igalia is actually landing patches in Chromium to enable non-HTTP protocol development, which is obviously a huge, incredible progress to the browser strategy. Video and audio integrations have been absolutely thriving. Filecoin and LivePeer have been two blockchains that have integrated with Filecoin to enable video transcoding. But other platforms like Audius, Huddle, Inflow Music, and Currents.fm are building incredible platforms on both the video and audio use cases. And since video and audio comprise, I think, something like 60% of the internet today, these are really important ecosystem multipliers to pay attention to. Web 2 data sets are starting to thrive on Filecoin. These are just 4 examples of really inspirational data sets that are starting to store petabytes of information. And we have started to upgrade developer tooling both with a number of ecosystem partners. And so Web3.storage is a really easy way for a hackathon developer to use Filecoin without having to really run an implementation under the hood. Estuary has been just storing petabytes, or hundreds of terabytes of data, and we'll get into the petabytes pretty soon, extremely easily. And so this is a really easy way for developers to integrate with that. And Andrew Hill did an awesome presentation from Textile on storage auctions using their platform, which is, I think, stored about 160 terabytes just in the last few months. But looking forward, we need to kind of continue to press on the gas on ecosystem multipliers. And so I'll throw a few ideas that we're focused on in this presentation here today. We think gaming is going to be a huge vertical in the next year. And so we'll be really looking for new blockchain games to use IPFS and Filecoin to turbocharge their development. Virtual worlds is another major one. And VR asset distribution and the metaverse together, that entire package, I think, has tremendous potential. There's some really unique properties that peer-to-peer tech can enable here, and the amount of data that comes from some of these platforms is absolutely enormous. And so we're really excited to partner with different players here. Mona is one that presented today at Orbit, which is making a big play in the metaverse. And so we're looking to continue those kinds of ecosystem multipliers in the future. Filecoin Green, I would argue, is a major ecosystem multiplier. If Filecoin can become not only a carbon neutral, but potentially a carbon negative blockchain, this is going to be something that major countries and major players around the world are going to pay attention to and invest heavily in. And so this is a really key thing, not only just for helping the environment, but for helping the adoption of Filecoin globally. And finally, we touched on this in the last talk. Today, for example, we generate about 58 zettabytes of information every year, and that's growing by about 3x to 175 zettabytes in 2024. But that's not the key stat I want to focus on. It's the amount of total data that's stored today. That's trending at about 5%. And there are tons and tons of use cases where data, really valuable data, is just being thrown away. It's not actively being stored. Anoop just mentioned a few of those in the oil and gas industry, where tons of data is coming out from on-site that's just being thrown away because there's no real mechanism to take that data from something that's on-prem and store it in a way that's preserved for the future. That's a major ecosystem multiplier that we'll be focused on going forward. That's a quick snapshot of ecosystem multipliers, which is kind of the foundational way to open up whole new possibilities for the Filecoin ecosystem. In the middle here are developers, projects, and businesses. And so I'll talk through a little bit about that right now. There are over 8,000 contributors to the Filecoin project on GitHub, and already we're the number 4 most actively developed blockchain protocol in Web3. So developers clearly have found a home within the Filecoin and IPFS ecosystems here. But what we need to do to accelerate this is to help developers learn using developer resources, build using things like hackathons, launch their projects using things like accelerators, and grow them using ecosystem capital and growth support. So this is a never-ending funnel that we want to continue to invest in, make really seamless for developers, where any developer that's interested in Web3 can join our ecosystems, learn, build, launch, and grow their ideas. And so it's going to be another great year for developers. There's lots of opportunities to, hack on any given month, to join grants programs and accelerators, to turn those hacks into major projects, and then tap a network of ecosystem growth support to turn those projects into businesses in the future. On hackathons specifically, our goal in the next year is to engage 100,000 developers through hackathons. That is a tremendous feat. 100,000 developers is a absolutely stretch goal that we want to shoot for. But just this year, we went from having one hackathon a quarter to engaging 10,000 developers over the course of this year so far, and now kicking off 5 hackathons a month, each typically exposing between 500 and 1,000 developers to IPFS and Filecoin. That is a remarkable feat and a remarkable trajectory, and it can't be done without the support of our hackathon partners within all over the community and all over the world. And so we're excited to double down on that and reach a 10x number of developers in the future. Some select highlights from these hackathons. HackFS was one of our first hackathons that we did for the Filecoin community around the mainnet launch a year ago. We've done a number of new hackathons with HackFS. The latest one, I think, had 655 hackers, 140 project submissions, which is fantastic. Our Asian hackathon series was actually 4 separate events all around Asia. We collaborated with Alibaba, Flow, Polygon, and a number of other ecosystem players. And Encode launched Filecoin Club, which was actually the most engaged program Encode has ever run. Encode is one of the most famous hackathon and accelerator partners for universities to get students engaged in different technologies. And so that was a very high potential program for them. If you want to learn more about hackathons specifically, Lucas did an amazing presentation at Orbit, so check it out on YouTube. On grants, we want to ramp to about 3,000 developer grants per year, which is another stretch goal. We do about 150 or so a quarter today, and most of those are joint grants programs with other blockchains or other partners to incentivize specific types of use cases. And so this will be another major step in that trajectory. Grants range from micro grants. This is for a developer that's exiting a hackathon who just wants to flesh out an idea for a month and see where it goes, to open grants, which can be a little bit larger to chase a specific idea or project, to requests for proposals. These are specific things the network would love to see and upgrade. And so, you can chase those proposals as well. And accelerators. We'd love to ramp to 500 new teams graduating from accelerators per year within the Filecoin and IPFS ecosystems. We've had some tremendous success with some of our existing partners. Filecoin Launchpad, powered by Tachyon, Filecoin Basecamp, powered by Outlier Ventures, Filecoin Techstars, which is launching soon, and Filecoin Frontier, which is powered by Longcash Ventures in Singapore. I'll put a quick plug for a few of them that are coming up. Techstars is marketing the application window right now. So if you have an idea, you want to apply to an accelerator to turbocharge that idea, this is a great one. The application window is open till December 1st, so check out their website to apply. And Tachyon is launching the 3rd Filecoin Launchpad cohort. They've had tremendous success of startups really just reaching escape velocity out of this particular accelerator. So applications are currently open for Tachyon 6 or the 3rd version of Filecoin Launchpad. And then we have an ecosystem capital goal. We have tons of external investors. These are separate third-party funds that have raised a bunch of money specifically to invest in the application layer on top of Filecoin and IPFS. And we want to continue to double down on that to get to 200 million of external capital and external funds investing in our ecosystems. Great, so that's kind of the middle part of the curve here. Developers, entering the ecosystem, turning their hacks into projects, and then those projects into real businesses going forward. Below here, I'll tease a few ideas on startup support. It starts with the storage providers themselves. These are extremely involved partners in the Filecoin ecosystem. But beyond securing the blockchain and of course storing really valuable data, these storage providers have been funding ecosystem projects. They've been launching their own applications. They've been participating in Filecoin Plus. They've been finding and storing new data sets and expanding their operations globally. They've been a very strong communications and presence in the community, and we need these storage providers to continue doing that and double down on that effort if we want to reach our goal of catalyzing the next 1,000 startups in the ecosystem. Second, this is a bit of a teaser, but over the next few months, we'll be exploring an idea called Bootcamp, where new developers, experienced developers that are entering the Web3 space can go through a series of a 6-week series of instructional primitives around IPFS, Filecoin, and the Web3 ecosystems. And then at the end of this, they can be matched with a whole variety of different startups in the ecosystem as new team members to those things. So I think talent is probably the most scarce asset in the ecosystem today. And so this is just one idea to kind of get a whole new funnel of talent into our ecosystem and have all of these startups that are looking to thrive and expand their teams, give them some options with really qualified folks to do so. We're starting to build an internal directory that can really document a lot of the major individuals and teams in the ecosystem and their respective areas of expertise. So if you're looking for potentially, a black belt in DeFi on top of Filecoin, or someone who's really experienced with libp2p at the protocol level, you can search some of those really core areas of expertise and find someone that you can ask questions to. We're thinking about a service provider marketplace. So this would be a whole bunch of service providers. Think of legal, finance, IT, design, and other types of support. We all kind of need the same things as startups in the ecosystem. So we'll try and build a database of these with the top rated ones that our ecosystem can access. And additionally, we'll be doing lots of guides to Web3, social events, ways where folks connect with each other, things like Filecoin Orbit, in the future as well. And much, much more. So think of this as a bit of a teaser of some services that we'll be offering to the ecosystem and specifically the startups in the ecosystem that are building on top of Filecoin. So that's kind of a framework and approach on how to catalyze the next wave of startups in our ecosystems. And I'll leave with a parting thought here, which is that perhaps the most important thing to attract builders to a vibrant Filecoin community is yourselves. Our collective vision for Web3 will only come to fruition if there are outstanding developers and entrepreneurs, just like the folks that we talked about today, only if they're incredibly successful. And so it's really our duty as engaged community members to help them succeed. Filecoin Orbit's just an amazing example of this. Over the last 4 days alone, we've had 35 events, over 12 countries, 5 continents, 20,000 attendees and counting. All these attendees brought a whole bunch of energy, enthusiasm, ideas, and technical input onto how to build on Filecoin. And so this is an extremely powerful example of how we can attract the next wave of builders to our ecosystems. So, and here are just some highlights from some of those community events, everything from recruiting workshops to technical workshops to, inspiring the next wave of big ideas like Green Filecoin. And so I'll emphasize that the success of Filecoin and Web3 really depends on the success of our developers and entrepreneurs. And so if you are an active community member in our ecosystem, I have a few requests. Please bring your energy. Bring your energy to builders events like hackathons, meetups, demo days. Show the builders in our ecosystem that you're super enthused about what they're doing and that you're here to support them. Provide your product input. If you're testing out Mona as a 3D art space or testing out Slate as a collaborative tool on top of Filecoin, sign up, use those products built on top of Filecoin and provide feedback to those developers so they can continuously improve their applications. 3, help our builders grow. Spread the word about some of these startups. They're super, super cool. You all have amazing distribution channels within your local communities. So help those startups grow by spreading the word. 4, refer developers, products, business candidates. We all have really wide networks of folks trying to enter Web3. The application layer is a great way to do so. And of course, anything else that you have to help these teams succeed. So it's our responsibility as community members to really, really help these builders grow their projects. And finally, if you are a builder, please get in touch. We are absolutely just getting started in this ecosystem, and we are here to support you to build out your hopes and dreams of the types of applications and change you want to make in the world. Thank you very much. That was my talk on catalyzing the next 1,000 startups in the ecosystem, and I'll punt it back to Noah.